it's Guido coming at you with a tactics talk and a 100 battle challenge finish and a follow-up to a review I did in 2022 on the old BZ-176. I went back and watched a little bit of that review to kind of see what I said. I more or less remembered what I said, and I was pretty much right back then. Although I said we would wait and see exactly what happens, but it was top 3 heavy back in 2022 and coming up on 2 years later, at least a year right now, and working on 2 years, it is still a ridiculously broken tank. You could argue it's OP as well. I think I'll have some pushback on that, but the numbers show it. Number 2 heavy on the NA. It's a similar story on the EU. I would absolutely agree that it's broken in terms of to some extent, the rockets, but the rockets only accentuate the problem of getting the gun into position. I would argue that it's also overpowered. That being said, I don't think it's a very fun tank. I think it can be occasionally a funny tank. So how did I do? I had 100 battles in this thing. You'll notice that I actually didn't do that great because I don't even have a mark, even though I'm sitting at 61% win rate. Only averaging 1,841, which is pretty low and doesn't really speak to a 61% win rate, except that the armor use efficiency for this thing at tier 8, and it sees 9s and 10s, fellas, is 0.79. And to be honest, I bet some of you have an even better percentage than I do, because near the end I started getting worked over with the turret and wasn't doing a great job of making sure people didn't pen the smallest hatch known to man, which seemed to have a bullet magnet on it. So 61%, 52% survival. So that's going to increase your victory rate even when your DPM, or DPG in this case, is relatively low for the win rate that I'm running. Low sample size still, fellas. I got it. 100 battles still. We're starting to see some trend items here. Damage ratio 1.54, destruction 3.02. When you're carrying that much alpha, you close people out and you tend to get some kills out of that. Average experience above 1,000 by a bit at 1,068. As I said, my DPG is 1,841. That is pretty low. What did that get me? Am I even close to a mark? I'm not even close to a mark, fellas. 52.71% in 100 battles. This thing's unreal. Best game was 4,701. That's going to be pretty low for some of you. I bet there are some massive games, especially well above 4,701, and killed 6. So while I had a good run, I am running above the average win rate by the percentage, a little bit over the win rate differential. We'll look at those numbers in just a bit. As far as winning, yep, I did it. Otherwise, I didn't have a whole lot of fun with the tank. Despite it being what I would argue OP, what I would agree with anyone else, it is certainly broken. It just isn't fun. It's too RNG based. It's kind of ridiculous in the armor minus the hatch. There you go. Crew was pretty good, as you see over here. Let's take a look at how it's doing overall in the game. Here she is, number 2 with a number 2 win 8, which I don't know how much that matters anymore, but still, can we agree it's an okay metric-ish? 56.29% win rate. Average player win rate is 53.03, plus 3.26. And since I was running 61%, I'm beating that by just a little bit right there. Although if you then broke that down by player skill rate, etc., it probably changes. Anywho's, its average DPG is 1,658, so I'm a little bit above that. We've got 72% hit rate. Mine is low. That probably hurt me a bit in the damage, I would say, over 100 battles. Pen at 58. And survival 33. I'm surviving better than most people. And there you have it for the BZ-176. Let's go take a look at a game. We're going to look at some of the things this can do. This is not a massive damage game, and it also happens to be on proc, which is not exactly the ideal BZ-176 game, although a couple things in this game make it pretty good for the BZ-76. We'll talk about that, and then we'll go ahead and wrap this thing. All right, we're in proc. We're spawned in the south. It's a standard battle. I didn't talk about my loadout because I'd already taken everything off of it, but you can see I'm running a turbo, an IA, and a rammer. There are certainly other options to be thrown in there. The Vertstab is a player faux show, perhaps events, so go ahead and take a look at, I would go after skills index because there's several very good players and they have a couple slightly different setups right there. This is the one I used, and perhaps that was part of my problem. but we've got food in there, extra rations, and a couple large kits. I am running 20 Hesh and 10 AP. I will admit up front, I had trouble making sure I had the right shell for the right situation. We'll see how I do on this particular match right here, but I always felt like maybe I was shooting the wrong shell. Honestly, with the Hesh and with this thing's derpiness, you've really got to be patient and careful and aim as best you can so that you can get the most out of your Hesh. And I will admit up front, I absolutely did not do that. And while this is kind of a caveman Mongo tank, in terms of making sure you use your Hesh correctly, it's actually not that easy to do. All right. Maybe it is for some of you. Maybe it is for some of you. I found it to be a little bit of a, I don't know if I'd say a headache, but difficult at times. Especially if you get into a long session and you're not really on top of your game, not thinking, and all of a sudden you're blasting that Hesh round into some very thick armor. You're going, well, how come I only got 52 hit points of damage or none? Well, because dummy, you fired your Hesh round right into a bit of spaced armor, right? Or into the wheels or into the track or something like that. All right, so we spawned into the south, and originally I was going to call this video a kind of a self-congratulatory, boy, all this trash is really heavy to carry. Maybe I should still call it that, but I won't. It's a pretty standard team. I don't think it was particularly bad or good in terms of skill rate, but in terms of deployment, it's yet another proc, and I don't know how many videos I've made of this showing this exact kind of insanity, but I am the only person that went the 5-6 line. People don't go 5-6 line because it's not easy. To some extent, maybe with having, that's just a bad shot. Maybe with having a BZ-176, people go, you know what, I bet that BZ is going to come up on the 5-6 line, and I really don't want to just walk into that stupid thing's gun. So I'll take credit for some. I was really hoping I could delete this ELC. He didn't seem like he was going to move, and I just really hoped it was going to hit him. I let it zoom all the way in. Maybe I actually let it not quite zoom all the way in, but we don't get a shot. I have a TS-55 in front of me, and then of course this LT-432, whenever he pokes out of he went into the little bowl right there, he's causing me issues. I really wish I could have killed this BTU early because he causes me problems as well. Here's this gun. So one thing to think about, that actually hit, but that was a Hesh round, and then it was an armor not hit, so I hit a piece of, I don't know, the mantlet, maybe some spaced armor, and it didn't pen all the way through to the next kind of stuff. All right. So you got to be careful poking right here. To be honest, I forgot where my train of thought was going, so it derailed. So we'll just go from here. They did kill the 432, and they killed their ELC even 90, but both of our light tanks died, and that's no bueno. I'm going to pop up there and get lit, I believe. Nope, I didn't that time. Spin around here. Oh, I know what I was going to talk about. That stupid building. Notice the building I was trying to fight to get around to take shots. It may be worth it to load an HE round and knock that building down when you're in this position. It's that building right there, fellas. This one is a pain in the ass. So just knock that thing down, get it out of the way, and you'll have shots on these guys. One of the reasons I didn't do it with this tank is because the reload is so slow. But if you can get up there and you've got a faster reloading gun, help a brother out, knock that thing down. And honestly, it probably would have been worth my time just to put a shell into it and get rid of it. All right, I see the KPZ, and I'm going to turn that way and hit the rockets. Notice that both our light tanks are dead. Theirs are dead, but I'm worried about the KPZ getting up there. He's got pretty good spotting. And if that 1-2 line starts to light all these clowns that are all bunched up together, all these TDs, and the one UDES is way in the back. I mean, at least he's got some vision on that. I'll give him that. But if I can get rid of the KPZ, that'd be great. I mentioned that there were some things in this game that made it better, more or less, for a KPZ. One of them is there's not too many arty. It'd be nice if there was 0, that'd be even better. But there's only 1. And so far, he's been happy not to shoot me, which is interesting. Notice he's shooting the hill back there. So take that kind of stuff into account. I wish I'd have gone up and over here without being spotted, because I think the KPZ knows exactly what's going to happen. Now, because this thing has good gun depression, this big old gun, and really good armor, I'm just going to pop up and over. I do get tracked. I back out. Look at that. Ridiculous. 1,080 damage. No damage to me. All bounced. That guy actually gets spotted by me, of all things. One thing you'll note, I did not use my rockets coming up to the 5-6 line. That is something to think about, fellas. Generally, I've used them on nearly every game to do things like that, to get right up there. But on this one, I said, you know what? I don't think getting up there early is going to matter that much. It's not like I'm going to pop up in position and wait for somebody. Let's just save all of our rockets. So I was able to get right over there, take care of that KPZ, turn around, use another rocket, and get all the way back here. So honestly, I thought that was a better use of rockets in general. Now we got guys moving. Come on, man, zoom in, get a little lead fire here, boom. That was a little early. There's that patience thing, fellas. I thought maybe he was going to get down below the train right there, but I wasn't fully zoomed. And this thing, honestly, you want to not shoot, not fully zoomed, I guess. And honestly, I struggled with that. I really did. It caused me issues. And all of a sudden, the hill was just having problems. I thought maybe they were going to win this pretty quickly. These two morons pushed in. I take a dumb shot there, hoping a 1 pixel will happen. People who are watching this and hearing what I just said about my struggles are like, well, I don't really have any questions why you didn't do more better. It's not really a sniper tank, is it, fellas? No, it is not. It is not really a sniper tank. The 49, the M449 and his buddy, they backed off. That kind of blew my mind. I mean, I don't know why they're down there, to be honest. And then something interesting happens. It looks like the 1-2 line's doing okay. I've got 2 rockets, a little bit of damage, some decent spotting. I'd love to kill this TS-54, but if I pop up over, there's several guys on the hill, and then I see this. I'm like, okay, that's what I was hoping to see. I'm going to have to expose myself a bit to do this. So let this zoom in. All right, are we going to actually let it fully zoom in? And we do, and check it out. I am rewarded with finally a nice little thump of 856. There's that example of the high alpha closing out tanks that are not normally one-shots to tier 8s. You know, maybe the ISU kind of idea. A couple of the really high alpha tanks, some 9s and 10s obviously, but for a tier 8 heavy tank, this is really the only tank that's going to go ahead and drop that guy, minus maybe the double barrel double shot. I see the M3Y go by. This surprised me how this goes down. Turns out to not be my greatest move of all time, but right now I felt very secure and safe in this move. I thought to myself, let's blaze up and over this, dive in, help kill the M3Y with these two guys. Should kill them quickly. Then I'll turn around and I'll work in the city. Well, kind of one problem with that escaped my small peanut brain is the fact that the TVP is still over there. Kind of forgot about that. So watch how this goes down. It doesn't work out great. And the other team does a decent job of reacting. I don't get up and over this as fast as I would have liked, but we get there, all right? Look what just happened behind me. Like, I have some of the worst timing. Look at this. I went right. It's like pulling out in front of somebody at a red light and not seeing the other guy coming, right? He's right there. I still don't know he's there. I'm going to find out here in a minute that he's there. We thump him like, okay, that's good. I'm like, oh, geez, he's on fire. And then look at the TS-54. Good on him. He comes in. And now I'm like, okay, great, I'm sandwiched. I'm about to find out I'm sandwiched even worse than I thought because there's a VTU. Like, all right, let's finish this guy off. I'm probably going to eat some shots, but we got to get rid of him. 54 gets a shot on me. There we go. All right, it should be a fairly easy kill, right? I got 2 guys up there. It's just a low hit point TS-54 and a low hit point Su-130. It's easy, right? It should be easy. Oh, great. Now the TVP VTU is thumping me, shoots my engine. When I got done with this game, I thought to myself, what you really should have done is hit the rockets again. Fix the engine quickly, dummy. Hit the rockets and go at the guy and ram him. Maybe even ram the Su-130 PM potentially right there. Although is that one dead? I guess that one is dead, isn't he? Yes, he is. Okay. So ram the TS-54. There's another one over on the other side of the map. And then turn and deal with the VTU. But I try this backup thing and I just bleed hit points doing it, unfortunately. So we've got 2,213 damage, 2,334 assist. I just take a stab at him here. I'm like, I got to do something. I'm hoping that the VTU will miss or bounce. I'm like, can I get back enough where he can't get me? Honestly, what? This. Come on. Oh, they are getting shot, I guess. I don't know. I don't last much longer. TS-54 is going to aim down at my lower plate. Nope, never mind. The TVP VTU came up over the side and was able to finish me off. All right. Let's wrap this thing up. 2,213 damage, 2,334 assists. I just wanted to show you this because some of the other things this thing has going for it, obviously, are the rockets. And when used in the right situation, they can be very useful. The armor, when used in the right situation, can be extremely useful. Some bad shots probably would have helped my damage just a little bit with a little bit more patience. And then, of course, the YOLO in there, which seemed like a great idea at the time, turned out to not be so much a great idea. I probably could have added a few more bits of damage in this game. This team ends up winning, although it gets a little closer than I would have liked. Let's wrap it up. All right, fellas, I finished the BZ-176, 100 battles. Unlikely to play it again. Actually stripped all the equipment off of it. I guess for a meme platoon at some point, I'll chuck regular equipment on it. And might do that sometime in the future, but in general, it's not a tank I would like to go back to. Like I said, it is not very fun, but it can be very funny at times with the damage it can do and how it can block things and all of that. It's in my opinion, one of the worst designs Wargaming has ever put out there in terms of its tanks, just for the very fact that it's no fun and it's only funny at times. That just, for me, that is the exact opposite of how you want to design your game. But I suppose some people really love the thing. It gets played a lot, it wins a lot, so there is that. I did, like I said, 61% in the thing. Didn't even really get close to sniffing a mark, which is pretty hilarious on that. But that's all I've got. Honestly, let me know what you guys think about this tank down below. When it first came out, I think everybody looked at it and went, this is ridiculous. And I think that assessment has come true. Honestly, we're a year and a half past when it was released, headed on into 2 years. And it's just a broken tank. It's a silly broken tank that it doesn't bring anything really good to the game. And there's nothing to do to it. I don't think there's any way that you balance this thing unless you just take away its gun, and that's what it's all about. It's all about the gun. So the only way you balance it is you remove it from the game, or you just nerf it so badly that it's even more miserable to play, in which case it would be really not fun and only very occasionally funny. Right now it's just unfun and sometimes funny. There you go. That's my opinion of it. You guys let me know down below. Any connoisseurs of the BZ-176? Is that your favorite tank? Let me know. That's all I've got. We will see ya.